My father died on a Tuesday in November. I found out from a hospital administrator, not from any member of my family. That tells you most of what you need to know about how things were between us. My name is James. My father and I had been estranged for 3 years when he died. We'd fallen out over something that, looking back, was less about what he'd done and more about who he'd chosen to become. This is the story of what I found out after he was gone, and the unexpected way karma settled his debts. My father's name was Gerald. He was 71 when he died, twice divorced, and had been with a woman called Diane for the last 8 years of his life. I'd met Diane twice. Both times she'd been pleasant enough. I hadn't thought much about her either way. When the solicitor called me 2 weeks after the funeral, I assumed it was routine, just paperwork, formalities, the kind of admin that follows a death. What the solicitor told me was not routine. My father had updated his will 18 months before he died. His estate, the house in Cheshire, the savings account, the pension lump sum, everything, had been left entirely to Diane. My sister and I had been removed from the will completely. I sat in my car outside the solicitor's office for a long time. I want to be honest here. I hadn't expected much. The estrangement had been real, and I wasn't naive about how he felt, but my sister had stayed close to him. She'd visited every month, helped him after his hip operation, driven him to appointments. She had given him the relationship I hadn't been able to, and he had cut her out entirely. We contested the will. Our solicitor advised us to pursue a claim under the Inheritance Act, which allows dependents and family members to challenge a will if reasonable financial provision hasn't been made. We also raised concerns about capacity. Our father had been diagnosed with early-stage vascular dementia 14 months before the will was changed. That last part was significant. Medical records showed that at the time the will was altered, our father had already received a formal cognitive assessment. His GP had documented concerns about his decision-making capacity. The solicitor who had drawn up the new will had not been made aware of this diagnosis. Diane's legal team fought back. They argued the will was valid, that our father had been of sound mind, that he'd made a free and informed choice. The judge didn't agree. He found that our father had lacked sufficient capacity at the time the will was changed, and that Diane had been present at the appointment where the changes were made, something the original solicitor confirmed she had not disclosed. The will was overturned. The estate was redistributed according to his previous will, drawn up 7 years earlier. My sister and I each received a share. I gave my portion to charity. My sister used hers to pay off her mortgage, the one she'd been struggling with while still showing up every month for a man who had secretly cut her out of his life. I don't know what Diane knew or intended. That wasn't my question to answer. What I know is that my sister deserved better. And in the end, the law agreed. If someone you love has been cut out of a will under suspicious circumstances, especially involving cognitive decline, please get legal advice. The Inheritance Act exists for exactly this reason. Subscribe to Karma's Verdict for more stories of justice finding its way, and leave a comment. Have you ever faced something like this?